So who buys Jeep Wranglers and why? You know, I thought it'd be curious to, or I was curious to go out and see and really if I fit into any of these categories. Now, let me say, I do these kind of videos. You guys can look this stuff up on the web yourself, but you don't have to because I make it easy. I'm going to give it to you right here. So there are basically four personas, I guess, of people that buy Jeep Wranglers, but why do they buy them? What do they do with them? I mean, Jeeps aren't exactly cheap, right? So let's go ahead and run through. First of all, it says here there are specific motivations behind a Jeep Wrangler purchase and that it can be grouped into these four personas, right? Number one, the hardcore off-roader. Who are they? Dedicated trail riders, overlanders, and camping enthusiasts. I mean, if you're a hardcore off-roader, I can't think of a better platform to get than a Jeep Wrangler, right? It's probably or arguably the most capable off-road 4x4. Gets decent gas mileage for its class if you're concerned about that. And you can do all kinds of things with it, right? Why they buy it? Let's see if I was right. They demand standard four-wheel drive, high ground clearance, and solid front and rear axles to conquer rocks, mud, and technical terrain. Preferred trim? The Rubicon, because it features locking differentials, electronic disconnecting sway bars, and heavy-duty rock rails straight from the factory. So basically, straight out of the box, you can pick one of these up, the Rubicon version, and go do whatever you want if you're a heavy-duty off-roader. And we know nobody does that, right? Because we all have to put our own little touch on it. Number two, the open-air lifestyle cruiser. Who are they? Beach lovers, suburban commuters, and warm climate drivers. Definitely want to be in a warm climate, I think, if you're going to do that. You know, I've driven vehicles without tops on and things out in the cold. I remember being in Florida, supposed to be warm, right? And we drove an old, it was an MGB or something like that, convertible, for about 2 hours in the morning. I think it was, I don't know, in the 40s, something like that. We froze to death. I don't know why we left the top off. I guess because we could, but it was not fun. Why they buy? They prioritize the removable doors and roof for a unique open-air driving experience that no standard SUV or crossover can replicate. Well, that's for sure. I mean, what else is out there that you can take the tops off, either all of it or bits and pieces, whatever you want? There's nothing. What is the preferred trim? The Sport S or Sahara, which offer upgraded cabin comforts and smoother street tires suited for daily driving. And that's important. It's a mistake that, I don't know if it's a mistake, it's a feature that came on the one that we have back here. It has mud terrains on it, and they are rough. Man, they are designed to grab the terrain, right? And they do, even if it's asphalt. Not to mention they're loud, they're heavy, which of course affects fuel economy. It's something that you probably are concerned about if you're using it as a daily driver. Number three, the customizer and builder. Who are they? Automotive hobbyists, aftermarket enthusiasts, and DIYers. This is the category, I think I fall into a couple here, maybe the previous one and this one a bit, because I like to get my hands dirty. I enjoy doing stuff with vehicles, particularly with the Jeep. So I think this one kind of captures most of it for me. It says here why they buy. They view the Wrangler as a blank canvas to build a highly personalized rig, taking advantage of the largest aftermarket ecosystem in the automotive industry. I might argue with that a little bit. I think the Toyota Tacoma, which you can see right out there, rivals the Jeep when it comes to available aftermarket accessories and options, things that you can do yourself. And of course it makes sense, right? I have a Toyota Tacoma along with the Jeep Wrangler because I like to do that kind of stuff. Preferred trim. Base Sport, because they plan to immediately replace the stock suspension, wheels, tires, and bumpers anyway. Now that would be the smart way to go. Not necessarily what I did, and there's a reason for that. We got this trim level, which is the Willys. It's a little bit higher up, has more options and things on it, because the wife wanted it, right? It's really her daily driver, if you will, even though I drive it more. But the only thing that we're gonna have to change are the tires. We'll change the wheels at the same time, but we can still add things to it if we want. Front, rear bumper, maybe some lights on the back, some lights other places. Already have done a few things. I changed out the cold air intake for something that gives us a little bit more throaty sound, I guess. So there's still things that you can do even if you go with a higher trim. Let's see, number 4, the RV flat tower. You see these occasionally if you take a long distance trip driving down the freeway. Who are they? Retirees, digital nomads, and cross-country motorhome travelers. Those are the folks that you see, they're driving down the road in their gigantic $250,000 motorhome with a Jeep stuck on the back being towed so that they can park that giant motorhome somewhere and then enjoy the Jeep, right? Take the top off, run to the beach, wherever they happen to be vacationing, or maybe even a trip in town to get groceries or supplies or whatever. It says here why they buy. They need a rugged vehicle that can be flat towed, pulled with all 4 wheels on the ground, behind an RV without damaging the drivetrain. Makes sense, right? If you're going to tow something, you've got to have something that you can actually tow without destroying it. Wouldn't be good to arrive at your destination and your drivetrain has been destroyed. Preferred trim. 2-door Sport or Willys, favored for their lightweight frame and compact footprint. So I guess that would kind of go along with the version that we have, the Willys. This thing, by the way, is awesome. From the color of it to the options that it came with, it's got side steps on it, something I would prefer not to have, but again, the wife likes those. I prefer just the flat slider on there to cover up the pinch welds on the side, because with I'm kind of going off on a tangent here a little bit, but with the side steps that you have, you can still see that green. Of course, it's the color of the Jeep, but the pinch weld area down there, and it looks unfinished. I actually have considered maybe painting that area black, so at least it kind of blends in with the side steps and kind of gets hidden a little bit back there. It's too bad, and these are OEM steps, that they don't come with some sort of a plate or panel that's attached to the holders there, I guess, so that it would hide that pinch weld area and make it look a little more finished. I mean, it's not a horrible thing, but you guys can see yourself when you're looking at the Jeep, that kind of pops right out at you and doesn't really look like a finished spot. Anyway, again, I do these videos just so you don't have to look this stuff up yourself. You could, but why do that when I've done the work for you? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.